Well, we already know that it's a special day for some people. Oh, special people. Sure, special day. So, did you do something nice for your mom today? I haven't. You got plans. Oh, very good. You got plans for later today too. Well, good deal. All for getting the surprise, aren't they? Yeah. So what about mom is special? Okay. What do you think about mom is too special? Well, he's got a list. Good deal. You have a list too, I know. Yes. Well, we always recognize moms on Mother's Day here. Do you remember that? And what do? Do you remember? Do you see something out there that reminds you of what we might do? Flowers, that's right. We always give moms flowers. So and we do that because we love them. We're going to be handing out flowers, yes. And we do that because our moms are special. And we want to give a flower to everybody who's a mom. Now that includes your mom and your moms, but there's other moms here too. Yeah, some other moms. So are you going to be helping to hand out flowers? Let's take the flowers. So these are the flowers we're going to hand out. And they're really pretty, aren't they? Okay. Take the flower and go give it to a mom. If it's for another mom. Give this one to come out. Oh, I have that. So I think that's all. Oh, I have that. You can find her behind somebody. So there's one other mom. No, Rachel already got her. I have this. It's for mom over there. And you're gonna give me one. Oh, you left that. Two flowers. Okay, so we're really thankful that we have moms and that moms are so special. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. I kind of have a different slant on things today. But I was really touched by this as I read through it. And so I just wanted to share it with you. So in the Bible, the men wrote the chapters, but the women stayed for the ending. That's not how most people remember the story. When Yeshua was arrested, fear spread fast. The same circle that walked with him learned now to disappear. History doesn't hide it. Matthew 26:56 said, and all the disciples deserted and they fled. Now go to the cross. Not the sermons, not the titles, but the cross. Who's still there? Matthew 27:55. Many women were there, watching from a distance, standing close enough to witness, standing close enough to be identified as being called or learning Jesus, refusing to leave even when it was dangerous. Now go to the tomb. It's early morning. It's pretty silent. There's lots of grief. And who shows up? Women. Matthew 28:1. After the Sabbath, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to look at the tomb. They weren't chasing miracles. They weren't expecting headlines. They were just showing up, even when it still hurt. And then the moment changed everything. For the stone was already rolled away. History shifted, and who saw it first? Women. Mark 16:9 says, Jesus appeared first to Mary Magdalene. Just let that sink in for a minute. The first witness of the resurrection were not the loudest voices, not the ones with titles, not the ones who ran, but the ones who stayed. And here's the question most people skip. Why do we remember the story as if courage only wore one face? Because if you read it without assumptions, you see something clear. At the cross, the women were there. At the tomb, the women were there. At the first announcement, there was a woman there. They didn't just support the story, they carried it when it was falling apart. And maybe that's the part that challenges us the most. Faith isn't proven in comfort. It's revealed in who stays, when leaving would be easier. On this Mother's Day, we want to remember all the mothers. You know, each one of us had a mom. Every person now on earth has had a mother. In the eyes of God, women are important, especially women who follow Jesus. Women are courageous. Women are loyal. Women of faith are blessed. Women stay and support and love until the end. So honor your mothers today. Or, in my case, honor my mom's family. I come from a line of godly women, which I think most everybody here does. My mother made sure we were all in church every Sunday. Every Sunday. She was a youth group sponsor. She was the person who would rides all over wherever we needed to go. She was involved in missions. She was very active in the church. But the tragedy of her driving the car when my brother was killed was something that she was never able to forgive herself for or accept God's forgiveness. It was at that time, and through those next years, that I lost my mom. And I lost her godly support. And I had a grandma, my dad's mom, who loved the Lord, and she worked as a church secretary. We became very close, and even though we lived in Pueblo for a while, I would often go up in the summertime and spend weeks up there with my grandmother in Denver and just spend time with her. She was the only family member who attended my first preaching opportunity. She was so excited, she bought me a new suit to wear. She said, you've got to look good. She stood in the vacant place left by my mom and my father after the tragedy of my wedding. Mother's Day reminds us of the godly women who have been guiding our hands on our spiritual journeys. Since my mom and my grandmother aren't here anymore, I have the witness of the women in Scripture, and that encourages me a lot. I've had other godly women who have stepped in, and I think of Margaret today. Can't help it. She's been such an important part of my life here. Genevieve was such an important part of my life here. And these godly women just stepped in and just basically adopted me. It's like I was one of their own. Isn't it great we have women like that who can help support and encourage us? And if you don't have one, find one. Because we all need that. Every one of us needs that. Even if we don't have a mom, we need somebody. We will be in that place. I'm just thankful for all of God who He gone for me. And I know that each one of you has had experience in that same will. He's not the way. I love him.
And thank you for the organization. You have a family. God of people, it's all in the way. And very supportive of their families and meeting for instance, their community, everyone's. I'm so glad that one was 101. Jesus on the inside. And that generation. Mom's the last one in that generation on my side of the family. They all dance were there and ready, aunts and grandmother there and well and ready to do whatever they could in the house. Sometimes they did.
Even going to grandparents' day at school, get Grandma me sure her Uncle Joe were there. Since grandparents stayed playing you. And one of us said, oh, just about.
Thinking of my grandmother called me around the 80. Grandma loved to and she loved the romances, the Harlem romance books. But in my growing up years, as many Harlequin books as she read, I bet she read Danny Orris as much or more, because that was a Christian-based story about the way growing up. And I don't remember so much on Sunday night, but I know on Wednesday night, during prayer meeting, all us kids sat down in the missionary room down by the furnace room, because it was the warmest. Grandma liked warm. And for an hour, she sat there and read that book to us. And you multiply that out, be for an hour. 52 weeks a year. And maybe 104 if she read Sunday night and Wednesday night. That's a lot of books. And it wasn't because she enjoyed the story. It's because some little kids needed to hear a positive Christian story.
We'll have our closing. By those who have gone before us, by their faith, by their love, and help us to be the same. Help us to love those who come into contact with. Help us to share the love of Jesus. We pray this all in the name and power of Jesus.